else. And for those joining the video, just let you know that we'll be working with weights today, and we're going to also be using 2 blocks. So have that all ready to go. And we'll make our way over to our mats. We'll begin either sitting or lying down, whichever you prefer. And oh, I've got my little heater going here. So as you settle in, if you're lying down, just let your body relax into the floor. If you're sitting up, take a moment to ground yourself, root your sitting bones down, and just feel the spine nice and upright. Maybe close your eyes if that's what works best for you, or you're always welcome to leave them open if you prefer. But we're going to take our awareness inward now and begin to feel what it feels like to be here right now. So, what do you feel in this moment? Start with your physical feelings. Maybe you notice the feeling of the ground beneath you. Maybe you notice the feeling of your clothes on your skin, or the feeling of the air. Maybe the air is cool, maybe the air is warm where you are. Notice the feeling of the muscles in your body. Are there any muscles that you're holding tight or clenching or gripping? Anything you're kind of holding on to, could be stress related, it could be injury related, it could just be a habit of maybe clenching the jaw or furrowing the brow. But just notice any tightness in your body. And sometimes when we notice, we are inclined to let that area soften a bit. Or maybe you're holding that tightness because you feel a need to protect that area. But just approach that recognition with understanding. We're just sort of getting in touch with our physical bodies as they are this morning. And also let's acknowledge how we're feeling emotionally, given what we're experiencing in our lives. And in the same way, just with recognition and understanding rather than judgment. To sort of hold yourself with kindness and love and understanding for how you're feeling this morning. And then let's begin some deep breathing practice. So let's begin to deepen our inhalation and feel it expanding into the lungs, into the ribs. Nice full deep breath in, and follow that up with a nice full emptying of the breath out. With that same mindful awareness of how this feels. there's a lot of sensation. There's sound, there's movement. Experience it all. Take your time. And just take 2 more rounds of this really full, deep, expansive breathing. And the next time you've let your exhale empty all the way out, begin to transition to a more natural breath rhythm. And maybe consider what you're needing this morning and see if there's something you'd like to focus on or set as your intention this morning for your practice. And know that if you're not sure, a really great thing to practice is just treating yourself with love and compassion. But maybe there's something else that you could use a little more of. So breathe something in. And then when you feel ready, you can go ahead and open your eyes. And we're going to make our way down onto our backs if you're not already there. And we're going to start pretty shortly after we arrive here. You're going to need 1 block and 1, probably your lighter weight. So lie down with those nearby. And then let's just take our feet off the floor and hug our knees in and just kind of release the low back a little bit by swaying side to side. And then we'll lift our legs up and kind of get a little stretch in the back of the legs as we flex and point the feet. And kind of push those heels up. Maybe circle at the ankles in one direction and in the other. And then we'll release our feet down to the floor. Let's find our block and place it the medium width between the thighs. So not the narrowest width, not the widest width, the medium width, kind of halfway between the knees and the body. And then we're just going to pick the feet up off the floor and bring our knees over our hips. And then we're going to lower the feet down. And we're going to let the feet go all the way down and relax and take a breath. So that's going to be the movement of the legs, just hugging the block and bringing the knees up and then lowering back all the way down. Feet come down and then relax and take a breath. So as we're doing that, I want us to take our arms overhead and have your arms out in a V overhead. And maybe your fingertips touch or the back of your hands touch, or maybe your whole arms touch. But as your arms are overhead in a V, what happens a lot of times when we take our arms overhead is our ribs push up toward the ceiling. So as your arms are overhead, I want you to snug or hug your low ribs down a bit if they've popped up. So we have our arms overhead, but our ribs knitting into the belly. And then we're going to take our feet off the floor and bring the knees over the hips. But as you do that, I want you to just slide your arms down and squeeze your elbows in towards your waist. So then we're going to lower the feet and reach the arms out in that V again and breathe in. And then as we pick the feet up and bring the knees over the hips, we're going to squeeze the elbows in towards the waist. And then we're going to inhale and reach the arms out like a V as the feet go down. So knees come up and we squeeze and hug the elbows into the waist. And then we inhale and reach the arms out as we lower the legs. That's a lot of instruction, I hope. I hope you're able to follow this. So inhale, arms overhead. Try not to let your ribs pop up. Exhale, hug your elbows into your waist as you lift your knees. And you can just tap the toes now. Rather than letting the feet relax down, just tap your toes. And then hug in. And inhale, arms reach out, toes touch. Exhale, hug your elbows into your waist. So you're just kind of waking up the shoulders, You're squeezing in, so you're kind of working the muscles in the back a little bit here. The low belly's working to lift the knees up. The upper belly's working to keep the ribs from popping up. Let's do a couple more. Reach out, breathe in. Exhale, hug in, lift the knees. Last one here. Inhale, reach out. Exhale and hug in. And then go ahead and release. Well, go ahead, grab the block and release your feet down. You can set the block off to the side. We're going to take our feet off the floor, grab the knees, hug them in, just release the back. And then we're going to let the knees drop open. So we're going to leave the knees bent and open in a straddle, and then take your arms like cactus arms, like goalpost arms, out at your side, 90-degree angle. We're going to bring the knees together, and as we do that, I want you to draw your elbows in and curl up. So you're curling your knees in, you're curling your elbows in. And then we're going to open out. So open the arms, open the knees, and breathe. So exhale and hug in. Your elbows come in, your knees come in. You can curl up and lift your hips a little, and then open out. So exhale, curl up, kind of curling into a ball almost, and then opening out and breathing. Exhale, knees come in, elbows come in, hips lift, and then open out. Exhale, curl up. Inhale, open out. Let's do a few more of these. Curling up, lifting the hips, opening out. Exhale, curl up, hug in. Inhale, open out. Exhale, hug in, lift. Inhale, open out. Exhale, hug in, lift. Inhale, open out. Let's do a few more. And open, and curl and lift, and open. Last two here. Hug and lift, and open out, and hug and lift. And you can release your feet now. Relax your arms at your side. Nice job. Let's roll to the side now. And this is where we're going to use that one weight that we had nearby, probably your lighter weight. It could be your heavier weight if you want. We're going to stack the knees. We're going to have them out in front of us and have one knee right on top of the other so that this hip is right on top of the other hip. We'll have our feet together. We're going to grab that weight and bring the elbow by our waist. We'll have our fist forward, and the movement of the arm is going to be up with the elbow staying close to the waist. We're not going to let the wrist cock back. We're going to have the wrist straight, and then the arm's going to lower down. So that bent arm lifts up and the bent arm lowers down. And at the same time with our feet together, we're going to lift the knee and then bring it back down. So we're just going up and down. And the tendency when we lift the knee is to roll back a little bit. We're going to try not to do that. Try to keep the hips just as they are and just move the leg. Lift the knee up and lower that back down. Lift the knee as we lift the arm and lower back down. Working into the back of the shoulder. I'm glad I picked up my lighter weight. Let's do a few more of these. Up and down. Great. Okay, we're going to put the weight down for a moment. We're going to pick it up again in a moment. You can put your hand on your hip. So can you keep your hip right where it is and take that top leg and extend it out? Again, the tendency when the leg extends is that you roll back. We're going to try and keep the hips stacked and then take the leg slightly behind you. So it, rather than straight, feel like it's a little bit behind. So there's a little more action in the hip and the glute here. And then again, pick up that weight. We're going to do that same motion with the arm, and we're going to do a leg lift and then lower down. So we're going to lift the leg, lift the arm, and lower down. Lift. And you can kind of lead with your heel. And again, the movement's just in the leg. The hip's not leaning back. The hips are stacked. The heel is slightly behind the line of the body. And we're just going to do maybe 4 more of these. And 3 more. And 2 more. Trying to strengthen the back of the shoulder here. And the last one. All right. Rest the knee, release the weight. Let's push ourselves up and come around and do that all on the other side. So bring your weight along, lower onto your bottom arm, bend the knees, stack one knee right on top of the other. Grab that weight with your other hand, elbow by your waist, fist is forward. As the arm goes up, we don't lift the elbow away from the waist and we don't cock the wrist. Elbow stays in close, wrist stays straight, and then that forearm lowers down. And we'll add the lifting of the knee to this movement. And again, the hips want to roll back when the knee lifts, but only go so far that that doesn't happen. So we're just rotating that hip, external rotation here. And getting some movement, some mobility, some strength in the muscles of the hip and in the back of the shoulder. Yeah. And my rotators are kind of weak, and I find this challenging work with the weight. And maybe you find it challenging, maybe it's not as hard for you. If you need to take a break with the weight and just do it with the weight of your arm, you can do that. So let's put the weight down for a moment. Put your hand on your hip. So when your knees are stacked, your hips are stacked. Can you keep your hips in this same alignment as you straighten that top leg out, and then take it slightly behind you. And then pick the weight up again, elbow by your waist. We're going to lift the leg and lift the arm, and then lower down. Lift the leg and lift the arm, and lower down. And lift, and lower. And lift, and lower. And lift, and lower. Let's do 4 more. Up and down. That leg slightly behind. Hips are stacked. 2 more. Up and down. Last one. Up and down. Nice work. Release the weight and let's come onto all fours. All right. And I'm going to have to take my socks off. So as you come onto all fours, nice and square, knees beneath hips, wrists beneath shoulders, spine nice and long. Let's take a few cat-cows, just on your own, in your own way, just rounding and extending your spine. You can do a little movement side to side. You could do this at any pace that you like. You can move front and back if you like. Just kind of loosen up and do some cat-cows in a way that makes you feel like your spine is having an opportunity to lengthen and arch and extend. And after your next cat or cow, start to transition to flat back. And so we're going to have 2 options. We can either, with our knees on the ground, take one leg and press the heel up. The goal here is not to drop the belly and arch the back, so keep some tone there, and just lift the leg so you're working the back of the thigh and into the glute. And then bring the knee down, and then same thing, other leg. Press it up, and then bring it down. So one option is with our knees on the ground. Other option is to curl the toes under and do this with the knees a little bit off the floor. And then same thing, press a heel up, and then bring it back down, and press a heel up and bring it back down. So either way, knees on the floor or not, when the leg goes up, the work is in the back of the thigh and into the glute. It's not from arching the back. So pressing up and coming down. Pressing up, press up through the heel, coming down. Pressing up, coming down. Let's do 2 more on each side. Pressing up and coming down. Pressing up, coming down. Pressing up, coming down. Last one, press it up and come on down. All right, back to knees. Let's take child's pose here now. You could do this with your arms out in front, your forehead on the floor. You could do this with your head on your arms. Let's take some time to breathe into the back body. Let the breath empty out. Check in and connect with what we're inviting in this morning. Sometimes things have shifted since our first check-in this morning. So notice that. This is our chance to really connect with what we're feeling and how we're doing, and just try to nurture ourselves. So when we're ready, let's lift our heads up and we're going to start to transition to downward facing dog. Let's really feel our hands pressing down into the mat as the hips go up and back. Let's free the neck and shoulders by just letting the head dangle and shake. And maybe shake side to side or nod. Let's create a little space between the shoulder blades, broadening there. Now let's take a deep breath in and let the breath go. Nice big sigh. Let's do that again. Deep breath in and big sigh out. Let that breath empty as fully as you can. Then we'll walk our hands back towards our feet, lowering our heels down, ending up folded over. We'll take a breath into the upper back. Allow the breath to empty. We'll draw the belly in and begin to roll ourselves up. Arms and head kind of dangle down as the spine stacks. And then as you come up, those shoulders can broaden. The head can roll up. Let's ground down through the feet as we take our arms out. And inhale and reach up and overhead. And then we'll exhale, arms down at our sides. Great. All right, so as you're coming back to face your device, I want you to come up on your toe. And then, my feet cramp a lot, but you're gonna come up on your toe, and then I want you to kind of roll forward. And this makes my feet cramp, but so I can't demonstrate it great. But you're gonna roll onto the front of your foot, and then I just kind of want you to kind of circle around, right? So you're gonna kind of roll onto the front of your toe and then smush it around. And we're just kind of working on foot mobility and ankle mobility. You can go the other direction. And you could be holding on to some here too if you for balance. But anyways, yeah, doesn't it kind of wake up the muscles in your feet? Let's try it on the other side. So you're up on your toe first, on the tip of your toe, and then you roll forward onto the top of your toe, and then circle around. Roll on the inner line of the foot, top of the foot, roll it around. So you're just getting your foot and your ankle to move in all kinds of ways. And the movement's going to come all the way up into the leg, into the hip. And then maybe circle the other direction. Ooh, baby. Yeah. That wakes up a lot of muscles in the feet, doesn't it? All right. And then let's just do a few calf raises up and down. So this gets the muscles in the feet and the ankles really working here. The lower legs, really all the muscles in the legs have to kind of fire up here when we rise up, and there's some balance work here too. Yeah. So now I'd like us to take our 2 blocks, and you're going to need something probably to hold on to, like a wall or a chair or something. So we're going to set the blocks side by side, and so you can stand with your feet hip distance apart beneath you. So you're going to step up on the 2 blocks, and then we're just going to do the same thing. We're going to do well, kind of similar. We're going to lift the heels up, and then we're going to lower down. But this time you can go a little further down. So you have the front half of your feet on the block and the back half of your feet off. So we're going to lift up, and we're going to lower down past the line of the block. So we work those calf muscles as we come up, and then we stretch into the calf and ankle as we lower down, and we're rising up, and we're lowering down. Now this time as you rise up, we're going to bend one knee and let the other heel lower down, and then we're going to rise up and bend the other knee and lower the other heel down. We'll do that again. Rise up, bend the first knee, lower the other heel down, rise up, bend the second knee, lower the other heel down, We're going to rise up again, nice and tall. We're going to lower both heels down past the line of the block, and then just bend the knees a little bit. Change where you feel the stretch. Hold here for a breath. And then we can just step off. And you can move those blocks aside. Okay. Let's come to the front of our mats, and we're going to get ready to flow a little bit here. Oh wait, I knew I was forgetting something. Sorry, come back. We're gonna do some squats before we flow. Pick up your weights and stand in squat position. So heels about as wide as hips, maybe slightly wider, feet angled out just a bit. And we're gonna sit into our squat. So knees tracking towards the toes and the hips lower down. We'll have our arms down at our side. And then as we straighten up, we're gonna curl up. And then we'll do a calf raise as we press up. And then we'll lower down. We're going to sit into our squat, curl up, and press up. Sit into our squat, come up, press up. Sit into our squat, come up, and press up. Sit into our squat, come up, and press up. All right. So just put your weights down for a minute. So when we sit into a squat, we're contracting here, right? We're shortening these muscles. And then as we straighten, we're lengthening them. And so we don't think much about the downward motion in a squat. Usually we think more about the work to push up. So when we push up, we're using more of the front of the legs. When we squat down, we're using the back of the legs. And it's interesting when we bring our awareness and we focus on engaging muscles. So we've done this before where just kind of pretend like you're scraping gum off your shoe with one foot against the stickiness of your mat. And as you do that, can you feel that hamstring engage? That's what engages against that resistance. And then just do that with the other leg. Kind of feel some resistance and notice how that fires up the hamstring on the back of the leg. Right? So now, standing in your squat position, can you think about engaging the hamstrings to pull yourself down? So you're pulling down into a squat and then pushing down to straighten. So can you pull down by engaging these muscles to pull you down into your squat and then push down to straighten up? Does it feel a little different if you pull down and then if you push into the floor to straighten? So let's just do a few more like this, engaging, activating those hamstrings to pull yourself down and then pushing down to straighten. One more time, activate, pull yourself down and then push down to straighten. Great. Okay, now we're gonna flow. Let's come to the front of our mats. Round yourself down to stand tall. Reach your arms out and get nice and open here. Inhale and reach up. Exhale and swan dive forward. Let's bring hands up onto shins. Inhale and lengthen through the crown. Exhale and fold. Bring your hands to the floor and step back to downward facing dog. Take a breath here. Exhale to straight arm plank. Take a breath here. Exhale and bend your elbows a bit. Take a breath here, and we're going to not go down. We're going to push back up and lift up into down dog. Take a breath. Exhale to straight arm plank, and maybe a little bend in your elbows. Then straighten your arms and lift up and back and breathe. Exhale, straight arm plank and or little push up. Straighten your arms and lift up and back. Couple more here. Lower into plank or a little push up, bend in your elbows, straighten and go up and back. This time lower into your straight arm plank, lower into a little bend in the elbows, and then let's come all the way down onto belly, into prone mountain. Sliding the heels of the back as you lengthen through the crown of your head. Let's inhale up to baby cobra and exhale back down. Let's do that again. Inhale up to baby cobra. We'll lift our hands, draw the elbows up and in, squeeze, and then release hands and release chest. Let's leave our hands down and inhale up to baby cobra, and maybe continue to come up higher and higher into cobra. And then lower back down. Let's push back to knees and take the hips back. And then rock forward and lower down all the way onto belly. So it's just another version of a push-up. Up and take the hips back and forward and lower down. Push back to knees and take the hips back. Come forward and lower down. Let's do two more. Push up and take the hips back. Come forward and lower down. Last one, push up and take the hips back. Come forward and lower down. Great. All right. As you're here, take your arms out like a V and sink your chest down low. Hover your head close to the floor. Let's press the hips down and lift the legs up. Working again into the back of the legs. And then lift your arms up. First, just your arms. Keep your head down. Lift your arms up. Yeah. Now, can you draw your elbows in as you pull your heart forward? Elbows squeeze into your waist and then lower down. Reach your arms out and then relax your arms and legs. So we're going to press down, lift the legs, lift the arms, lift the chest, and then hug in. Elbows come into your waist. And then reach out and then lower down. Lower your arms, lower your legs, relax. Again, press down, lift your legs, lift your heart, lift your arms, breathe in. Exhale, hug into your waist, pull your heart forward. Inhale, reach out. Exhale, lower down. Couple more. Press down, lift your legs, lift your arms, lift your heart. Hug in. Inhale, reach out. Exhale, lower down. Last one, press down, lift your legs, lift your arms, lift your heart, breathe in. Exhale, hug in, pull your heart forward. Inhale, reach out, and exhale, and lower down. Nice work. Let's bring our hands next to chest. Push the weight back. Take the hips all the way back. Let's do child's pose again. That was a lot of back bending. Now we're doing some spinal flexion. So back bending really fires us up and forward bending is a little more calming. So let the nervous system settle as you breathe deeply here and check in. Let your breath empty. And then when you're ready, lift your head up, reach your arms out. Let's make our way to downward facing dog. We'll breathe in and out here. Let's look a little forward and walk our feet up toward our hands. Plant our feet beneath us. We'll reverse swan dive, sweep the arms out, inhale and rise up, reach up. Exhale our arms down at our sides. And again, inhale, reach out and up. Exhale, swan dive forward. Bring our hands to the floor and step back to downward facing dog. And take a breath here. Exhale to straight arm plank. Take a breath here. Exhale, a little bend in the elbows. And take another breath. And exhale and lower all the way down to belly. Let's come on to forearms. Let's measure fingertip to elbow, elbow to fingertip, and then slice down to lift the chest. We're going to curl the toes under and lift the hips. And so for this, we can be on our knees or we can lift the knees up. I find this one kind of hard with the knees up. See, so I might do it on my knees. You're welcome to do it either way. But could we take one arm and sweep it out to the side and then bring that forearm back down? Take the other arm, sweep it out to the side and bring it back down. So you're kind of stroking out to the side and forearm comes back down, stroking out to the side, forearm comes back down. So it's easier if you kind of turn your body. Could you keep your hips facing the floor as you do this rather than turning? We're just gonna do a few more of these. Sweeping the arm around, coming onto forearm, sweeping the arm around, coming onto forearm. One more time each side. Sweep it around, come onto forearm, sweep it around, come onto forearm. Nice work. Lower down. Just let's let the elbows go wide. Just let your head rest for a moment. Let everything relax. That can build up some tension in the neck and shoulders. So just release that tension now. And breathe in and out. Great. All right. Hands next to chest. Push your weight back. And let's make our way to downward facing dog. And breathe in and out here. We're going to walk our hands back towards our feet and lower our heels down. Bend the knees, lower the hips, sweep the arms forward, sitting back in our low chair. Let's take the arms and reach them up and overhead. And take a breath in and out. And then push down into the feet and legs. Inhale and rise up, reach up. And then we're going to swan dive forward again. Now we're going to walk our hands out into a plank. We're going to take a breath here and then lift up and back to down dog. We're going to walk our hands back, lower our heels. We're going to sit back into a chair and then lift the arms. We'll push into the feet and legs and rise up and breathe in. Release the arms down, swan dive. Walk your hands out into a plank. Take a breath. Exhale back to down dog. Walk our hands back into a fold. Bend the knees, lower the hips. Sweep the arms forward. Sit back in your chair. Take your arms and reach them up. Push down, inhale, rise up, reach up. Last time we're going to swan dive. We're going to walk out to our plank. We're going to hold plank and take a breath. And then lift up to down dog. And take another breath. And then we're going to lower onto knees. Nice job. Coming up to stand on the knees. We're going to take one foot out in front. Doesn't matter which one. And we're going to, a lot of times we take the weight forward to get a stretch on the back leg. Right now, what I want us to do is think about the leg that's on the floor and push that knee and shin down and then kind of lift the heart. And you can kind of think about letting the tailbone drop down so that you're getting a stretch in the front of the leg, that's the knee is on the floor, by pressing down, by kind of dropping the tailbone down, by lifting the heart. So it's more of an active pressing down to create a stretch in the front of this bottom thigh without necessarily moving the front leg forward. And then let's sweep our arms up as we're doing this. We're pressing that back knee down and then just drop the elbows out into a right angle cactus arm. Lift your heart. You're pressing down with that back knee and shin. Lift your heart. Lift that hip bone. Breathe. And then just bring your arms down. Let's do that on the other side. So we're going to step the other foot out in front. And the knee that's on the floor, we're really going to push the weight down. Pushing that down should create some action in that front thigh. And that's what we want. Can you think about your tail kind of dropping down, the front of the hip kind of lifting up? And then let's reach the arms overhead and breathe in. And then just let the elbows drop back and down, bending your arms and lift your heart. Take another breath here. And then reach your arms up and bring them down. All right. So now we're going to kneel on both knees. Have your knees hip distance apart. And we're going to, again, push down now with both knees and shins. And we're going to, same thing, kind of let the tailbone drop, let the front of the hips lift. And then I want you to lean back a little bit so that you're working into the front of the legs. These quads, as they attach to the knees, they're working to support you as you lean back. And then we're going to come back up. Just relax for a moment. And then again, we're going to push the knees and shins down. Tailbone drops down, hips lift. And then we're going to lean back a little bit. You might go a lot further than me. You might go not as far. What feels right for you? And then come back up. Give it a rest. Relax everything. We're going to do that one more time. Press the knees and shins down. Drop the tail, lift the hip bones, and then lean back. And feel the work, kind of where the quads, the whole quad may be firing. I feel it where my quads kind of attached to the tops of my knees. And then come back up. Great. Okay. Let's bring the knees all the way together. Sit back on our heels and round over into a nice tight child's pose. Let your forehead be supported and take a couple of breaths here. Let your breath empty out. Offer yourself what you're needing here with one more breath. And then let's make our way back up onto our knees. And we're just going to make our way all the way up to stand. All right. Let's find our heavier weights. And we're going to stand with our feet hip distance apart. And we're going to take a big step back with one foot. Really doesn't matter which one. So we're in a lunge stance. Feet are hip distance apart. We're going to lift that back heel up. And we're going to bend both knees as we bicep curl. And then we're going to lower. And then as we bend both knees, we're going to do a lateral raise and lower. So we're going to alternate curl and lower and lateral raise and lower and curl and lower and lift and lower. Yeah, knee goes down. Some people, that back knee gets really close to the floor. So the lunge is as deep as is right for you. So we'll do a few more of these. Really pressing into that front foot. Down and up. And raise. We'll do one more like that. Down and up. And raise. Great. Now we're going to bend the front knee forward and lean forward. You can drop the arms down, but then press back with both arms. Lift them up a little higher than the back leg if you can. Notice where your elbows are. Keep them where they are. Just bend your lower arm in and then press back. Bend your lower arm in and then press back like a hinge. Hinging in, pressing back. Really lift up as you press back. Bend in and press back and up. Feel those triceps. Bend in, press back up and lift. Bend in, press back up and lift. Let's do 4 more. Bend in, press back up and lift. Bend in, press back up and lift. 2 more. In, back up and lift. Last one, in and lift. Now let your arms drop down. So you can keep the back foot down or try and straighten the front leg, lift the back leg up, and then lateral raise out to the side. Lifting out and down and out. Just 2 more. Out and down and out and down. And then just come up to stand. All right. We got to do that all on the other leg. So feet are hip distance. Take a big step back with your other foot. Keep that hip distance apart. Lift the back heel. We're going to bicep curl and come down and then lateral raise and down. Lunging as you curl. Lunging as you lift. Yeah. So maybe the weights that you picked up are the right weight. Maybe you need to add, maybe you need to subtract. Maybe you need to lunge deeper. or not as deep. What do you need today to make this practice right for you? Let's do a few more of these. Curling up and lifting out. Working biceps, working shoulders, deltoids. One more of each. Nice work. All right. So we're going to bend the front knee forward, lean forward, take those arms, press them straight back, lift them up nice and high, keep the elbows where they are, hinge in and press back. Hinge in and press back. Hinge in and press back. Keep going and press back. Keep the arms high, press back nice and high. 4 more, press back. 3 more, press back. 2 more, press back. Last one, press back, hold it up. Then lower your arms. You could stay here and lift out to the side, or you could bring the weight onto the front foot, straighten the front leg, lift the back leg up, hinging forward, and then do those lateral raises. So lift out to the side, lift out to the side. 2 more, out to the side. Last one, out to the side. And then stand up. Woo-wee. Good work. All right. We're going to get rid of our weights, and we're going to make our way all the way down. Let's sit for a moment, and we're just going to release those glutes a little bit. We're going to bring our feet together and just sit in bound angle for a moment. You could sit up on something if you like. We'll have our feet together, pressing in, our knees pressing out. We could be holding the ankles. We might find it better for us to have our arms behind. Let's push feet in and push knees out. Sit down, rise up tall. And breathe in and out here. Check in. Your body, your breath, your mind, your spirit. How are you doing? Breathe in love, compassion, patience, whatever it is you're working on. And then give that a break. Bring your knees in, straighten your legs out. We're going to roll down onto our backs, and we're going to be using our 2 blocks again. So you might want to look to see, or I'll just tell you, you're going to put your blocks under your feet as you would if you were in bridge pose. So your blocks are going to be where your feet would be if you're in bridge pose. So, we get our heels kind of under our knees, and we have our feet hip distance apart. So we want to find that position with our feet on the 2 blocks. And once you got that arranged, we're going to do bridge pose. So again, when we do bridge, we don't want to turn our head. So look at the ceiling and then start to lift your hips up. Press your feet down into the blocks to lift up into a bridge. And it's going to be different than a regular bridge. It's going to feel a little different. It's not as much of a spinal extension. It's going to work a little more into the back of the thighs. So you're pressing down to lift up. You can think about your knees and shins pressing forward. We're going to take a breath. And then we can lower back down out of the bridge. And once you're all the way down, just let everything relax. Okay, we're going to do that again. We're going to push down into the blocks to lift up into a bridge. Let's think about the feet are pressing down, the knees and the shins are pressing forward. Then at the same time, can you feel like you're pulling your heels up towards your shoulders? You would almost be sliding the blocks, but they're on your sticky mat, so they're not going to move. But you're pulling your heels up towards your shoulders. Really activate those hamstrings and glutes here. And then relax that and lower back down. Once you're down, let everything relax and take a breath. One more time like that. We're going to push down to lift up. Thinking about the energy of the knees and shins pressing forward as your feet press down. But then can you pull, excuse me, pull your heels up towards your shoulders. Keep those knees in line with hips. Don't let them drop in. Take a breath and then lower yourself down out of your bridge. Nice work. You can take your feet off of the blocks and slide the blocks away. And then let's go ahead and hug our knees into chest and just take a nice easy sway side to side. Nice job. Okay, I want us to roll all the way to one side, sort of towards your device. And we're going to finish up with clamshell twist. So bottom arm out in front, top hand on top of your bottom hand. We're going to bring our knees close to our elbows. And then we're going to take that top arm and reach it back and behind, rolling our chest and our gaze up toward the ceiling. Those knees stay stacked. And we're going to breathe deeply here now. And just allow ourselves to experience the movement of the breath in a twist. As the breath moves in, kind of moves everything around. And then as the breath empties out, it's really a full releasing. If you let the breath empty all the way out, it's just a really nice release. So just experience that. And take one more deep breath in and out. Great. Then let's take that arm from behind, bring it back up, bring it down on the bottom hand. And then we're going to roll onto our back and roll all the way to the other side. So again, that bottom arm is out on the floor in front. The knees are stacked. And then can you bring your knees up close to your elbows so you're tight in your clamshell. And then that top arm reaches up and back and behind. Knees stay stacked here. You're looking up. And then as you're breathing that deep, full breath in and out, when you let the exhale release, let it take with it something that's been weighing you down, something that's been burdening you or bothering you. Just let that exhale be a releasing and a letting go. Let it empty all the way out. One more breath like that. Then that arm from behind can come back up, come back down. And we're going to start to transition to our final relaxation now. So take a moment to set yourself up. Be nice and warm and comfortable. What could you offer yourself now so that your relaxation feels really nice? Blanket, a pillow, whatever that is. Set yourself up and then make your way to lying down with your legs extended. Some days you just drop into that position that feels really great. Sometimes you require a little wiggling to get there. But get to that place that feels really nice and just feel your body beginning to relax. Sometimes we recognize all the tension that we hold in the body. And sometimes we're not aware if there is any. But our daily lives tend to accumulate things in our bodies, patterns of gripping and clenching. And this is an opportunity to let go of that, those patterns, the tendencies, the habits of holding on. So think about softening, opening, releasing, relaxing, and letting go. Ungrip, unclench, unfurl. Just kind of clear the slate. And let yourself rest in this place of ease and openness. This very natural state of being at rest. So you can continue lying back, like as I share a reading with you from Mark Nepo. I just opened to this today. It's called Beginning Again. He says, creation is ongoing. The world begins anew each day. This is the miracle that makes not a sound, but which changes everything if we can be quiet enough to feel it happen. When we can participate in this, we begin anew each day. Consider how the sun washes the earth with its heat, and then clouds dissipate and grasses grow and stones crumble when no one is looking to reveal a smoother, deeper face. It is the same with us. In a moment of realness, the clouds in our mind clear, and our passion is restored, and our walls crumble when no one is looking. It all continues and refreshes if we let it. It all renews so subtly. We think it is night that covers the world, but everything living is recreated in that mysterious moment of rest that blankets us all. And each time you blink, if you pause to let your heart flutter with nothing but air to flutter about, each time you open your eyes, you can begin again. It's true. This is the moment of resurrection, the opening of our eyes. So if you're still lying back, you might begin to open your eyes now, seeing the world again afresh, anew. And you might roll to your side after you bring your feet to the floor and just take a little time there to transition. You might make your way up to sitting. And it might be your practice to close out your practice with a little meditation, prayer, reflection, gratitude. This practice really offers us so much, not only for our bodies, but for our spirits. So I thank you for practicing with me this morning. Peace.